This is Camnet News. Thank you so much for choosing us. We apologize for starting the news a bit late. However, we are here. The top stories on our desk this evening. Zambia and the Democratic Republic of Congo at loggerheads over illegal structures at KASUMBALESA border. Fugitive banker PAMELA GONDWE sued by ABSA. President HH urged to clean up the civil service to curb corruption. In international news, Ethiopia orders expulsion of top UN officials for meddling. And in sports news, Red Arrows Rugby Club confident of winning Saturday's game against Green Eagles of KABWE.
The Camnet October Conference is fast approaching. To participate in the forthcoming conference, you're required to book your seat by paying 750 kwacha per person per day. Date 1st and 2nd October 2021. Venue the Healing Word Ministries International in Ibex Hill. Guest speakers include Professor Reda, Professor Munkumba, Mr. Nkuruma Kalaluka, Dr. Musonda, Dr. Sitima, Anthony from USA, Dr. Mwale, Honorable Bob Sichinga, Elias Bondela, and your hosts, Pastors Victoria and Moses Chiluba.
You can also participate via Zoom at 300 kwacha per day.
Make your payments through mobile money for MTN 096 296 5883, for Airtel 097 975 3010. Our banking details are 913 000 182 5325, Stanbic Bank, Kablonga branch.
For those living abroad, make payments via Wild Remit. The deadline for payments will be 28 September 2021. Any late payment made after 28 September will attract a penalty fee of 200 kwacha per person.
Once again, thank you for joining us. Soweto Market in Lusaka is a ticking time bomb for waterborne diseases due to unsanitary conditions at the market. A check by Camnet TV revealed stagnant water pools filled with maggots in makeshift drainages dug by the market traders only a few meters away from their restaurants. In an interview with Camnet TV, the traders have attributed this to lack of adequate drainages in the area, leaving them with no choice but to create makeshift drains within their trading spaces. Sipora Mushala has the details on this story.
This is one of the many makeshift drainages at Old Soweto Market in Lusaka, dug by market users. However, water in this improvised drainage is stagnant, turning it into a breeding ground for maggots. When visiting the market, one is first greeted by flies and a smell of decomposition. The drainage is also located only a stone's throw away from restaurants, posing as a health hazard. While already posing a danger to people's health, the situation has a potential of becoming disastrous with the rain season around the corner, as this is a breeding ground for diseases such as cholera. Market users here state that the lack of adequate drainages at the market has prompted them to dig their own.
You can see this drainage, man, is very, very, very dead, and it's a hazard to the people. As you can see, and we are coming to the rain season, and in the rain season, so we are complaining to the council authority to look at this situation. The one who is making the market, they didn't make a proper drainage system.
So tenga wanyama takuta kiwa so tumanza chwa mtoileti afu wasange na hapa so government ikatuchishirako drainage at least.
While the Lusaka City Council LCC has promised to investigate the matter and construct more drainages, they have called on market users to be responsible for the already existing ones, attributing the main problem to be the blocking of already existing drainages due to indiscriminate waste disposal. LCC Director of Public Health, Mr. Christopher Mutonga, was speaking to Camnet News in a phone interview.
Thank you for bringing it to light. We are going to do an inspection of the premises, and we'll do accordingly. We'll make sure we guide the marketeers in order to conduct themselves, and also to disinfect the area in question. That's the first course of action we take, to disinfect the first place in the place in question, and then moving forward, we work on the drainages with us, specifically Department of Engineering Services, and that's an issue that we feel the agency deserves, because obviously we don't want an outbreak of diseases, but also citizens in that area should be responsible enough to know how to manage their waste and not just be careless in the name of saying the council is coming to do that.
Soweto Market in Lusaka does not stand alone in poor sanitation, as there have been similar reports from other markets around the country. Records from the Ministry of Health show that the country struggled with cholera in 2018, having recorded 4,800 cases and over 1,000 deaths from the same. Zambia has seen a significant improvement in combating cholera in the last 2 years, and the LCC Director of Public Health warns that if market traders around the country do not change their mindsets by ensuring that they do not dispose of waste indiscriminately, they may act as enemies of themselves, as the outbreak could begin from these facilities. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Timber traders in Lusaka have welcomed the move by the Republican President Hakainde Hichilema of awarding them with licenses that will instigate free trade in the product. In an interview with Camnet TV, the traders say the timber sector has had a lot of restrictions on the local traders, which hindered their growth. They have since encouraged the youths in the country to engage in the timber industry.
Sources in the Zambian timber industry say foreigners have for a long time been harvesting trees with validated licenses by the Forest Department, and most times leaving out the local timber traders. This, though, will be a thing of the past, as the Republican President Hakainde Hichilema has assured the local traders of trading licenses. Camnet TV caught up with some traders at Buseko Market in Lusaka who welcomed the move by the president of awarding them with licenses that will instigate free trade of the product.
Yes, they were being hindered because you find that most of the foreigners were the one quenching out the deal for trading in timber, unlike Zambia. Now the decision that which was made by the president of this country, Zambia, is very much welcome. We respect him and we respect the decision that he normally makes. His Excellency Hakainde Hichilema, with the new Don government, those ideas are very much welcome.
In businesses, you need to have that license.
They say the move will enhance sustainable development in the Zambian economy.
It's like what niche what? So I'm licenses. Now that what I'm a capital, supporting my area quite. My vote so I'm going to support
Blessings Chakwila, Camnet News, Lusaka.
A Lusaka-based metal fabricator has challenged government to address the issue of empowerment proactively by maximizing existing potential of the small businesses across the country. In an exclusive interview with Camnet TV, Charles Sinyangwe has noted that in the previous administration, the small and medium businesses did not directly benefit from government's empowerment programs. Meanwhile, a government expert, Innocent Masiku, has underscored the need for strong political will if small and medium enterprises are to be broadly supported.
The need to support small businesses in some form of funds through the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises cannot be overemphasized. The Minister, Elias Mubanga, is on record preaching support for these businessmen, women, and especially the youth in the industry. However, one of the major challenges faced by some in the recent past is access to funds from financial institutions at affordable rates. A Lusaka-based metal fabricator has therefore challenged government to address the issue of empowerment proactively by maximizing the existing potential. Charles Nyangwe, one of the welders at Buseko Market, has said this during an interview.
We can even do the quality looking at even other foreigners can do. Even us here, we can do it in at least in time, because it's something which we see that it will help us also to contribute to the economy of this country than giving foreigners. They just come where they get the money and they go to their country, meaning that us as Zambians we are not benefiting anything. If you look at government can put into consideration even to empower us also as small-scale enterprises, we'll be able to see even Zambia moving forward than to bring us down as meaning that as we are citizens of this country, meaning that we are looking forward even as our new ministry to put things in order to make sure that they'll help us also.
Meanwhile, a governance expert, Innocent Masiko, has underscored the need for strong political will if small and medium enterprises are to be broadly supported.
So people need to be engaged. For example, if you talk about the youths actually can do well in this ministry. The youth actually can see a lot of benefits, okay? Even people like, for example, workers, if you talk of welders, for example, they need to benefit from this ministry. But that can only be done when there is political will and when these people are engaged, people are told the benefits of this ministry. Once this is done, then you are assured of the expected results. So in a nutshell, what we are calling on the UPND government is for them to be able to put into practice whatever they've been talking about, and especially with regards to this ministry, there is need for political will.
It is these small businesses that will have a huge impact on the national economy in the long run. Hence, the call for empowerment is valid. Alex Shimba, Camnet News, Lusaka.
A non-governmental organization has challenged President Hakainde Hichilema to quickly clean up the civil service if his quest to fight corruption is to yield positive results. Zitukule Consortium Executive Director Nicholas Piri notes with concern that some people who may have been part of the dubious activities in the Patriotic Front regime remain part of the new Dawn government, a move he feels may hinder the country's ability to fight the graft. And Mr. Piri regrets the Auditor General's report has continued to highlight high levels of irregularities in the administration of public resources. Patrick Sonko filed this report.
In the build-up to the August 12 general election, Zambia's human rights record declined, and a report from Amnesty International indicated that Zambia was at the brink of a human rights crisis. Politically motivated restriction on opposition political parties and rights actors were observed, and certainly citizens like Nsamachi Pioka and Joseph Kaunda lost their lives at the hands of the police. But President Hakainde Hichilema says he seeks to improve the country's human rights profile.
I went to prison myself 15 times. I want to protect other people from going to prison when they are not committing any crimes. It's enough. I served enough prison for you citizens. Lawrence Banda, Mapens Chibulo, Joseph Kaunda, Nsama, they paid enough blood. We don't want to see any more blood of a fellow citizen. Even those who attacked us. I told one of them face to face, I said, I didn't like your behavior when you were in government. But I've forgiven you, but don't do it again.
This stance gives rights activists like Nicholas Piri, the Zitukule Consortium Executive Director, hope for a better Zambia.
The UPND are no longer in the opposition, and they must not seem to be diluting the vision that the president is setting for the nation. Remember that they were elected on the basis of this vision, and so when you have contradictory statements coming from government spokesperson, party spokesperson, party chairperson, I think that undermines everything that the president is trying to do. And so our encouragement to the UPND is that they must quickly organize their house, tap into the president's vision, and speak with one voice. Otherwise, there was completely no need for us to have a debate on whether or not cadres should be in the market. There was completely no need for one of the statements we heard where somebody was saying that, freedom of expression should not be taken for granted. I think let us all abide by the law.
Mr. Piri, however, urges President Hakainde Hichilema to clean up the civil service to make the corruption fight fruitful.
Cannot use the same people that were part to the party of corruption to fight corruption. And the same goes to the DEC. The DEC must be cleansed. The same goes to the Anti-Corruption Commission. It must be cleansed. Only then and when we are going to win the fight against corruption.
He is hopeful that action will be taken on the recent Auditor General's report, which shows a continued trend on abuse of public resources.
This report has come out when the PF permanent secretaries are still serving in office and they don't have a conscience to resign. Tells you that there's a problem, because morally these people, the permanent secretaries, should have resigned. Our advice to this government is that before you can pay their terminal benefits, make sure that these PSS account, because I know that some of them may not even have to pay their terminal benefits because of the amount of rot they allow to happen under their own watch. And of course, if there's information which is leading to some people who may be enjoying immunity from prosecution, we can encourage that immunity must be removed.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
The Democratic Republic of Congo has requested the Zambian government to expedite the process of demolishing illegal structures along the KASUMBALESA border post on the Zambian side to curb smuggling. Speaking at a bilateral trade meeting held at KASUMBALESA border post, Democratic Republic of Congo advisor to the Minister of External Trade, Jeremy Kalala, says the agreed timeframe for demolishing the said structures by the Zambian government has already elapsed and has demanded the action to be taken within the next 3 months. Mr. Mukena wonders why Zambia has taken long to act, while D.R.C has already fulfilled its agreement and demolished all illegal structures along the zones of its sides. In response, Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry Director Foreign Trade, Bessie Chilemo, says Zambia remains committed to fulfilling her commitment to have the said structures demolished. Prudence Chota filed this report.
There was a heated debate between delegates from the Democratic Republic of Congo, D.R.C, and representatives from the Republic of Zambia over illegal structures built at the buffer zones, also known as no man's land, at KASUMBALESA border post. While representatives from the two countries had in the past years agreed that all illegal structures at the border be demolished, Congo, D.R.C has fulfilled the commitment, while Zambia has not yet done so due to various reasons, among them the need to identify land to relocate parties that will be affected by the exercise. This, however, does not seem to go well with the D.R.C, who believe that illegal structures are now being used to house smuggled goods by some individuals, hence affecting trade.
Point 4 de ce communiqué, item number 4 of this joint communiqué, dit ceci, said que la République de Zambie, that the Republic of Zambia, accélère to speed up les processus de démolition des entrepôts illégaux, the process of demolition of illegal depots, le long de la frontière de KASUMBALESA dans les meilleurs délais, along the border of KASUMBALESA in due time.
The delegates demanded that Zambia gives them a specific time frame in which it will move in and demolish the said structures.
So Zambia is going to demolish legal structures within the 3 months starting from this meeting. Ok, je pense qu'on peut noter les deux positions. Ce n'est pas comme ça qu'on avait discuté. Est-ce que nous pouvons nous arrêter?
But in response, Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry Director for Foreign Trade, Bessie Chilemo, made an assurance that Zambia will do what is required to foster trade between the two countries.
But like I indicated before, in this particular meeting, the one we had the last 2 days, provided the update which has shown that Zambia has clearly made progress towards its commitment to demolish the illegal structures. I want to assure your office that illegal warehouses along the buffer zone are of equal concern to the Zambian government, and the Zambian government is working towards ensuring that this is done through relevant institutions that have the mandate, the police mandate to do so. The processes may seem slow, but what is important is that the process has started.
The Zambian delegates have since assured that they will provide an update on the progress made after a period of 3 months. Other important matters were discussed and resolved at the same meeting, which has led to the two countries signing a communique. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News in KASUMBALESA border post.
Meanwhile, Zambia has signed a communique with the Democratic Republic of Congo meant to foster trade between the two countries. Speaking during the signing ceremony, Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry, Chipoka Mulenga, says the UPND administration will ensure that it implements all agreements meant to foster development between the two countries. Meanwhile, D.R.C. Minister of External Trade, Jean-Lucien Busa-Tongba, says time has come for the two countries to begin to leave the talk.
International trade between different countries is an important factor in raising the living standards, providing employment, and enabling consumers to enjoy a greater variety of goods. While Zambia and the Democratic Republic of Congo, D.R.C, have enjoyed cordial trade relations for years, some factors have still remained as hindrances for the two countries to fully utilize their potential. This is the more reason why the two countries have signed a communique to foster trade and have agreed on several factors that need to be worked on by the two countries to make trade possible.
D.R.C. should expedite the ratification of the bilateral trade agreement that was signed in Lusaka on 6 August 2015. 2. The two respective ministries of trade and designated focal points responsible for coordinating the MOU should enhance utilization of the MOU by exchanging information on traders of products covered by the MOU. 3. The two countries should engage all relevant border agencies and commerce extension of operating hours from the current 06 a.m. to 6 p.m. to 06 a.m. to 10 p.m.
And speaking during the signing-in ceremony, Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry Chipoka Mulenga has made an assurance that the new Dawn government wants to ensure that all agreements are implemented and not just remain on paper.
We committed to doing something. Pour faire quelque chose. Not only talking, pas seulement parler, but acting, agir in the best interest of our people. Pour l'intérêt de nos deux peuples. This signing today, cette signature aujourd'hui, demonstrates our commitment, démontre notre engagement to working in the best interest of the people that elected us. Travailler dans l'intérêt du peuple qui nous a élus. I'm very sure, je suis très sûr, that the two administrations, que les deux gouvernements, will do, vont faire, and achieve, et réaliser something that has never been achieved before. Quelque chose qui n'a pas encore été réalisé avant.
And his counterpart, Minister of External Trade from the D.R.C, says he wants to see more action in the implementation of policies that will favor trade between the two countries.
So we are all together able to change the paradigm.
Changer la manière de faire, la manière d'agir, la manière d'avancer.
So to change the man of thinking, the man of behaving, and the man of going, the stepping forward.
Et d'avoir de bonnes pratiques en matière de commerce et d'investissement.
So we need to change the practice of investing and the manner of changing the practice in promoting industry.
Trade is critical to any country's prosperity as it fuels economic growth, supporting good jobs, raising living standards, and helping countries provide for their families with affordable goods and services. This is the more reason why Zambia's Republican President Hakainde Hichilema, in his speech delivered on Tuesday, assured the Zambian people that he and his counterpart, President of the D.R.C, Felix Tshisekedi, while in the United States of America, had discussed various progressive issues that will see to it that trade between the two countries is enhanced. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Well, thank you, Prudence, for those stories. Moving on in the news, the Lusaka Magistrate Court has granted an injunction restricting some suspected United Party for National Development inclined bus drivers from harassing and chasing some suspected Patriotic Front bus drivers from Kulimatawa bus station. In this case, 4 bus drivers, namely Felix Mumba, Enes Chansa, David Scapizia and Charles Mbulo, all operating from Kulima Tower Bus Station, filed a civil lawsuit against Nicholas Banda and 3 others for allegedly chasing them from the station after the 12th August 2021 general elections. The plaintiff, who were representing others Friday morning, testified before the resident magistrate Alice Walusuku that the suspected UPND drivers told them to leave the station because it is now the new government party cadres that have taken over.
Imagine being a driver and chased from the bus station you operate from by your fellow drivers based on political ground. Well, this was the case for Felix Mumba, Enes Chansa, David Scapazia, and Charles Mbolo after some suspected United Party for National Development inclined bus drivers banished them from entering or operating in Kulima Tower bus station in the capital Lusaka immediately after the change of government. The 4 will not have to fear of any harassment as the court Friday morning ordered that they return to the bus station and start operating and no one must chase them.
I'm so happy with what the judge has said, to say no, we should go back and work. I hope and trust that we'll get back into station to start working as bus drivers, because we are drivers. We have buses. We do drive buses.
I'm happiest person today, being the first day of October, that we have been now granted this injunction that we can now work freely in Kulima Tower bus station. If our friend won't comply with the adjudication of Honorable Orisuku, that's their thing. We will get back to court and complain again that we have been granted the injunction you ordered an Honorable Magistrate. But at the moment, I can only appeal to those all affected drivers at Kulima Tower bus station to go back and work freely. To go back and work freely. That is a public place, and we need to support the government in power. We need to support our president. Our president has said clearly, he has said that no one should harass a fellow citizen, and you cannot be your own enemy. This is the message of the president.
Mr. Mumba and his 3 colleagues, or bus drivers from Kulima Tower bus station, had filed a civil lawsuit against Nicholas Banda, Charles Musonda, Friday Kafwimbi, and Stephen Mwale in the Lusaka's Magistrate Court, and were seeking an order that the court restrain Mr. Banda and others from chasing them from the bus station. Earlier, the 4 Friday morning testified before Lusaka resident Magistrate Alice Walusiku that immediately after the 12th August elections result, suspected UPND sympathizers told them to leave the station because it is now the time for the new governing party cadres to take over the premises. The plaintiffs further testified that the UPND sympathizers banished them from the station for alleging that they were supporting the opposition Patriotic Front Party. However, in their defense, the defendants refuted the plaintiff's allegation, claiming they were lies because no one chased them from the station, but they ran on their own. Delivering a judgment, Magistrate Walusiku granted an injunction restraining the defendants from further harassing or chasing the plaintiffs and stated that if any of the defendants breached the court order, she will send them to jail. She wondered why someone who does not work for the local authority can have power to chase someone from a public station. She concluded in stating that Lusaka City Council is the only local authority with power to chase someone, but not on political ground. Miriam Kaimba reporting for Camnet TV News.
Alleged fugitive banker Pamela Gondwe has been sued by ABSA in the Lusaka High Court demanding payment of over 200,000 kwacha, being money owed through a housing loan facility in 2010. ABSA, formerly known as Barclays Bank, states that it entered into a staff loan facility agreement with its former employee, Ms. Gondwe. The bank had agreed to advance Ms. Gondwe a housing loan facility in the sum of 240,000 kwacha, together with interest. However, she has defaulted despite several reminders. Miriam Kaimba once again filed this report.
Despite famous fugitive Pamela Gondwe being on the run since 2019 from the alleged theft of about 5.3 million kwacha, her former employer, ABSA Bank, has sued her in the Lusaka High Court demanding payment of over 200,000 kwacha being monies owned through a housing loan facility in 2010. Ms. Gondwe, whose whereabouts is not yet known, but according to the court's document, her address is stand number C7/D2260 of lot number 1052/M KABWE Estate, Lusaka. In an affidavit in support of originating summons before court, ABSA, formerly known as Bankless Bank, states that on the 16th of June 2010, it entered into a staff housing loan facility agreement with its former employee, Ms. Gondwe, and she agreed that she was going to advance to the bank a housing loan facility in the sum of 240,000 kwacha together with interest. According to the term of the facility agreement, ABSA Bank would liquidate the advance sum together with the interest to 40 consecutive monthly installments spanning a period of 20 years until June 21, 2030. However, Ms. Gondwe has defaulted despite several reminders and is now owing ABSA Bank more than 271,000 kwacha. ABSA Bank is now demanding the payment of the said amount, or alternatively, an order for closure, possession and sale of subdivision number 2260 of lot number 1052/M, Lusaka, secured by the montage deed dated May 15th, 2021. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Speaker of the National Assembly had Friday 1st October 2021 chased Kabushi Member of Parliament Bowman Lusambo from Parliament for gross misconduct after he walked out of Parliament when Vice President Mutale Nalumango was holding the floor. The Speaker of the National Assembly, Nelly Miti, said the conduct by Mr. Lusambo was out of order and slapped him with a suspension. The Vice President, meanwhile, Ms. Nalumango, has told Parliament that her government is committed to fulfilling all campaign promises, including free education, which has remained subject of debate.
Is the Honourable Member for Kabushi, Honourable Bowman Lusambo, in order to walk out on you and protest because of his unhappiness pertaining to the ruling and the guidance you made on the questions he was trying to make on the floor of the House during our Honor the Vice President's question time? Is it in order to bring your status into public ridicule by walking out on you in protest and in anger?
Thank you very much for that point of order. Indeed, I did notice the Honourable Member for Kabushi walking out when I asked him to sit down. So the Honourable Member for Kabushi actually is definitely out of order, and his conduct amounts to ridiculing the presiding officer who was presiding over the affairs of this House. And in order for us to continue with the decorum and dignity of this House, the Honourable Member for Kabushi will be excused from the sitting of today so that he can go and vent his anger outside, not in this House. The Honourable Member for Kabushi is requested to leave the House.
Yeah. Walk of shame.
The member to leave the House.
Okay. This is wasting our time. Yeah. Don't come back. Court cases.
Can we continue?
You're watching Camnet News. We take a break.
Africa is rising to a new dawn of integrity and accountability. Are you tired of being swindled or buying fake or illegal properties? Would you like to sell or buy genuine property? Would you like to list your property on both local and international market? Don't waste your time. Call the professionals, the SGK Properties on +260 762 166 018. SGK Properties. Your business assurance is our priority.
In our quest to save nations and develop Africa, ZAMBIA is investing in the agriculture sector so as to produce supply for both local and international markets, housing over 12,000 pullets that are nurtured and fed with our locally made stock feed that comes from our own locally grown maize and soya beans, all processed from our recently installed milling and mixing plant. Our over 95,000 layers have an output capacity of over 1,500 trays of fresh eggs per day that are carefully selected and packaged for all the leading stores and supermarkets nationwide. Our greenhouses are fitted with the latest irrigation system, and the seedlings are nurtured to ensure only healthy plants reach the fields. With our deliberate planting schedule, we are better placed to supply constantly without interruption, thus reliable. ZAMBIA Farms is also changing lives of its dedicated workforce drawn from the local community and beyond. So the next time you think fresh and green, think ZAMBIA Farms.
Would you like to win some cool cash? Say no more. Stand a chance to win your share of 1 million kwacha. Simply make a transaction from your Zamtel mobile money account and you could be one of weekly winners of up to 10,000 kwacha. Be empowered with Zamtel mobile money. Dial *344# to activate your account. This promotion runs from 28th July to 31st October 2021. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
Are you a small to medium enterprise looking to advertise your products and services within your community and across Zambia? In these economic times, we are here to help you grow your business. Advertise with us on Camnet Market. Camnet Market is offering lower rates for prime time advertising between 06 to 18 hours every day to give your business an edge under the new normal and beyond. For more details, contact us on the following numbers: 097 975 3010 or 096 296 5883, as well as 096 244 726. You can also reach us via email on info@camnettvafrica.com. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
You're still watching Camnet News. Thank you so much for staying on. An energy expert, Johnston Chikwanda, has charged that the country will not achieve its goal of a green economy as long as illegal tree cutting on a large scale is allowed to continue in Zambia. Statistics from the Zambia Forestry Department indicate that the country has continued to lose thousands of hectares of forest to illegal tree cutting per year, mostly for charcoal usage. In an interview with Camnet TV, Mr. Chikwanda has called on government to seriously invest into alternative sources of energy, such as coal, stating that Zambia has the potential to have diverse sources of energy, needing serious political will for this to be achieved.
Zambia, like the rest of the world, has been affected by climate change. This has resulted in changes of seasons where the country has been hit with droughts, like was the case in 2019, which led to the drying of maize crops. The recent rain season in Zambia saw a sudden change as the country was now hit with flooding due to heavy rain. In trying to address the effects of climate change, the United Party for National Development (UPND) government came up with a Ministry of Green Economy and Environment. The United Nations (UN) described a green economy and environment as one with low levels of carbon and reduced environmental risks. An energy expert, Mr. Johnston Chikwanda, however, states that until indiscriminate tree cutting for charcoal usage is permanently resolved, achieving a green economy and environment will be impossible. Trees play an important role in preventing climate change as they absorb greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, which are responsible for causing climate change. They also play a vital role in protecting the environment as they prevent soil erosion and protect watersheds.
The charcoal supply chain is one of the
biggest producers of carbon. And so our prospects for achieving a green economy is going to depend on a large scale on what strategies we are going to roll out to engage and manage the charcoal supply chain. It's very, very important, and I believe that this new government has got the momentum. It's got I've seen the manifesto, I have seen the programs, I've seen the engagements, the way they are taking shape, and I've also seen that it is plugging into international protocols, international engagements. So with a resilience harness at a global level, initiatives which have been implemented, tested and implemented in other countries are rolled out here on how we are going to handle our charcoal supply chain and other high carbon footprint industries is going to help us a lot in achieving the green economy mandate which we want.
Mr. Chikwanda says talks have been ongoing about creating alternatives to charcoal energy, such as investing in coal briquettes, but no results have been seen. He states that Zambia is rich in coal and has called for such alternatives to be explored.
So these are strategies that we'll have to look at different strategies, such as the coal briquettes themselves, and indeed you're going to see other forms of cooking which have not been seen before in this country. So this ministry is researching. And I believe that the government of the day, for them to come up with this ministry, they have researched that there are alternatives that are not being utilized.
The energy expert further says there is need for random inspections to ensure that those illegally selling charcoal without licenses are apprehended. Zipporah Mushala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Government has disclosed that the situation in Chionda-Ponde, Lavushmanda district of Muchinga province is back to normal following a rebellion by residents of Mwele village who attacked a combined team of law enforcement agencies. The team comprised the Department of National Parks and Wildlife, the Drug Enforcement Commission, and the Zambia Police Service, who were conducting their routine operations against poaching and illegal trade in government. Ministry of Tourism and Arts Public Relations Officer Sakavilo Kalembwe says community members became unruly when 2 of their colleagues were arrested for illegally selling the black lechwe meat in the village.
The community members turned unruly when 2 of their colleagues were arrested for illegally selling black lechwe meat in the village. One suspect ran into the bush and officers gave chase. The other suspect ran into the house where he was picked up. It was at this point when he was getting apprehended that when he got bundled into the vehicle together with the 9 pieces of the contraband, that community members mobilized themselves to rescue the suspect and following them up with offensive weapons. In the process, they stoned and smashed 3 vehicles belonging to the officers that were on the operation. These vehicles include the Rapid Deployment Vehicle, registration number AQB 1418, and the African Parks Vehicle, registration number BAR 5991, and they smashed the windscreen of a law enforcement vehicle number BAK 6660. The officers fired warning shots, but the villagers could not respond. In the process, 13 community members sustained minor injuries and were rushed to Chilonga Mission Hospital where they received treatments.
United Party for National Development Chairman for Elections, Gary Nkombo, has advised political parties taking part in various elections across the country not to engage in political violence and hate speech. Mr. Nkombo, who is also a local government minister, warned groups against causing violence, adding that the issue-based campaign can help the country attain meaningful development. Mr. Nkombo was speaking at Mwanjawantu Primary School Nomination Center in KABWE constituency of Petaoke district, where different political parties failed in their nominations. The UPND election chairman also said all individuals or groups who will engage into hate speech during the campaign period will be visited by the law. Meanwhile, Patriotic Front leadership in the province has pledged peaceful campaigns ahead of the KABWE by-elections. The Patriotic Front Vice President Given Luinda also says that the party is overwhelmed by the response from the people, stating that the party will focus on explaining various developmental projects that were initiated under the Patriotic Front.
To the people of KABWE, please chonde na papata sinifuna kuti akawina Aaron akasale kuno bantu ali muchipatala yayi nifuna kuti Aaron pomuchitira kampeni mwe makamaka chipani cha PF akabwera abantu afuna opanga musokonezo afuna opanga nkondo imwe muchokepo mutakupikeko osapanga nkondo yayi Stephen Zungu sinifuna ali onse muntu wa KABWE achitike kama elections Aaron. I want that when Aaron wins, he goes to Lusaka, he leaves people in KABWE happy and safe. Please, violence must not be allowed. And over and above that, so please, kwe musapita konsetieti kamekani ya chikondi nkani ya chitukuko.
I'd like to ask our political candidate what we will do publicly to wage a clean and violent-free campaign. I'd like the police to play their role, so that wherever the ugly head of violence starts to show itself, the police must arrest. And I want to repeat, whether it's a UPND cadre, or a PF cadre, or a Socialist Party cadre, who engages into politics of hate speech, of violence, the law will have to take its full course against those individuals.
The Engineering Institute of Zambia has revealed that the institute is developing an oxygen transportation machine which is lacking in most public hospitals. EIZ Deputy Registrar David Kamungo has pledged EIZ's support to fighting the COVID-19 as the country anticipates the fourth wave of the pandemic. Engineer Kamungo notes that based on the report availed to the institution by the Ministry of Health, oxygen transportation in hospitals still remains a challenge, hence coming up with an innovation to address the issue. Zambia is, according to the Ministry of Health, expected to be hit by the fourth wave of the COVID-19 in December 2021.
Our hospitals require assistance in terms of design on how to transport oxygen to the different levels. You know, you have different layers of wards. So as an institution, we also made a proposal on how we can improve. Currently it's existing quite right, but also just to ensure that we increase the transport of oxygen from the lower grounds up to the higher grounds. So we've been in talks with the Ministry of Health, and we've done a report, and this report will be made available, I'm sure, very soon to the public. Ministry of Health, for the simple reason that we wanted to have an understanding, an in-depth understanding of the challenges that the ministry was facing during the third wave. As you may be aware, we lost quite a number of lives during that period, sadly. May their souls rest in peace. And what came off the report were issues surrounding the conversion of industrial oxygen into medical grade oxygen. So as an institution, we've done a report, a conclusive report, and we've made proposals on how we can safely convert industrial grade oxygen into medical grade oxygen.
You're still watching Camnet News. We take another set of commercials. When we return, we look at sports and international news. Stay with us.
At Savenda Express Printing, we have the capacity to deliver quality in all kinds of printing services timely. Our lines of production include screen printing, embroidery, lithography, and large format printing. We take pride in delivering quality work at very competitive rates with our in-house, highly experienced and qualified designers. With the ability to print full color and embossing prints, our state-of-the-art screen printing machines are able to print 1,000 pieces per hour. Our embroidery machines are able to print any logo with 1 or up to 12 colors all at once and has an output capacity of 100 pieces per hour. Savenda Express Printing also does large format printing for billboards, banners, vinyl, car stickers, posters, tire covers, cups, pens, bags, flasks, packaging boxes, and well, just anything that can need printing. For inquiries, give us a call on 0960 344 471.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes, and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
Are you a small to medium enterprise looking to advertise your products and services within your community and across Zambia? In these economic times, we are here to help you grow your business. Advertise with us on Camnet Market. Camnet Market is offering lower rates for prime time advertising between 06 to 18 hours every day to give your business an edge under the new normal and beyond. For more details, contact us on the following numbers: 097 975 3010 or 096 296 5883, as well as 096 244 726. You can also reach us via email on info@camnettvafrica.com. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying on. In international news, the United States has criticized Ethiopia for expelling 7 senior United Nations officials, warning it will not hesitate to impose sanctions against those obstructing humanitarian efforts. The UN staff have been accused of meddling in Ethiopia's internal affairs. They have been given 72 hours to leave. In other news, clinics and hospitals in the northern Nigeria are struggling to cope with high numbers of severely malnourished children. Food shortages have worsened as violence by armed groups intensify. Here's a roundup of international news.
These are some of the most recent pictures from Tigray, but they are weeks old. The region is quite deliberately, it seems, being cut off from the rest of the world. The UN believes famine has already taken hold, but humanitarian access remains severely limited, and now the Ethiopian government in a tweet has announced it's expelling 7 top UN officials. They have 72 hours to leave the country. In response, a spokesperson for the UN Secretary-General read out this statement he's issued.
I was shocked by the information that the government of Ethiopia has declared 7 UN officials, including senior UN humanitarian officials, as persona non grata. I have full confidence in the UN staff who are in Ethiopia doing this work. The UN is committed to helping Ethiopian people who rely on humanitarian assistance. We are now engaging with the government of Ethiopia in the expectation that the concerned UN staff will be allowed to continue their important work.
At the UN Security Council, ambassadors viewed the planned expulsions as a most unwelcome development.
Do you believe this expulsion of the top UN staff is part of an attempt by the Ethiopian government to use starvation as a weapon?
Look, like the Secretary-General, I'm deeply shocked by what we've just heard about the expulsion of senior humanitarian workers. You've heard me time and again here raise our concerns about Tigray, now I would say about northern Ethiopia.
With 400,000 people now facing famine, that's more than the rest of people facing famine in the world. So we've got a real humanitarian emergency. We've been working now for almost a year since the conflict started to get humanitarian access in to try and bring the parties to peace. So I think the latest developments will only intensify our determination to try and get a breakthrough.
Several Security Council members have told me they'd like to discuss these latest developments as soon as possible. I'm told a meeting could happen as early as Friday.
Fatima Goni Musa and her 1-year-old son are preparing to leave hospital after treatment for malnutrition and infections. They've been here for 2 weeks.
My baby was in very bad shape and was admitted. His daily therapy includes medicine and nutritious supplements.
Doctors at this facility, run by the International Rescue Committee with support from UNICEF, are barely coping with the high number of children seeking help.
Daily we see between 15 and 20 patients daily,
but occasionally we do get out of bed space, and then where such occurs, we either ask them to come another day, the next day, or we ask them to go to another facility, or if we can give them any oral medication for them to take and then come tomorrow in the morning so that we can admit them once we have the space.
As Fatima and her baby prepare to leave, 6 mothers holding their sick children wait outside. Each is hoping their child will take up the next available bed space. It went to this mother and her severely malnourished child. As well as treating undernourished children, the hospital also treats and feeds mothers to boost their immune systems. What's happening here is repeated in many other hospitals in the city.
With crops about to be harvested, doctors and nutritionists hope malnutrition cases will decline. But there are no guarantees since inflation has hurt incomes and unemployment remains high.
The armed group Boko Haram launched an insurgency in Borno State 12 years ago. At one point, more than 80% of farms were abandoned because of attacks by its fighters. Millions of people were forced to depend on food aid. But with donations reducing, so are food supplies.
There is some levels of donor fatigue, certainly. There are so many crises, and unfortunately, the crises we're seeing are increasing day by day, location by location. There is donor fatigue, but we cannot afford that donor fatigue to continue.
On the ground, aid workers are struggling.
Looking at the problem at hand, resources can never be enough. What we are reaching, with the little we have, we'll reach the numbers we can. And for sure, I can tell you, there are a number of children who deserve this type of service, but we can't reach them. Either the resource is not allowing, or they can't be accessed.
Without adequate resources, it's hard for aid workers to know how many children need help. But with the cost of food going up, it's clear the number of those going hungry can only be rising.
Well, that's it for international news. We now look at sports news. The Zambia Rugby Main League defending champions Red Arrows Club is confident of winning Saturday's game, which happens to be the last of the season to be played against Green Eagles of KABWE. In an interview with Camnet Sports, Red Arrows Rugby Club head coach Chishimba Mumba says the rugby competition in the country is high, adding that there is need to go and promote the sport in schools.
Zambia Rugby Main League defending champions Red Arrows Club say they are assured of a win in tomorrow's last game of the season, which will be played against Green Eagles of KABWE. In an interview with Camnet Sports, Red Arrows Rugby Club head coach Chishimba Mumba says the rugby competition in the country is quickly increasing, stating the need for the sport to be introduced in schools. Mumba has since encouraged the young in the nation to join the sports discipline.
Getting there, especially if you people can go out there and promote our sports. It's a very great sport. If it's well advertised, I think you have a lot of people to follow the sport. Otherwise, it's a very entertaining sport, second to soccer in this country. But it needs more. There's more to be done, especially in terms of being advertised.
And Red Arrows Rugby women's captain has given some of the challenges the sport is facing in the country.
That's my team, Red Arrows Rugby, Shoes, aka Shoes. So we're preparing for our last league game this Saturday in KABWE against Eagles, the Green Eagles ladies. Our standings, this game determines who's going to take the league for this season, for this year 2021. So our standings are as follows. We have Muflira on number 1, Red Arrows number 2, 3 Green Eagles, and 4th place. In 4th place we have Konkola. So if we win this game, it means we take the league.
Traditionally, rugby in Zambia was seen as an excel sport. However, over the last 20 years, it has become a truly Zambian sport, with a majority of its players coming up through the schools and local club. Blessings Chakwila, Camnet Sports, Lusaka.
Well, that's where we wrap it up for our news this evening. The headlines once again. Zambia and the Democratic Republic of Congo at loggerheads over illegal structures at KASUMBALESA border. Fugitive banker PAMELA GONDWE sued by ABSA. President HH urged to clean up the civil service to curb corruption. In international news, Ethiopia orders expulsion of the top UN officials for meddling. And in sports, Red Arrows Rugby Club confident of winning Saturday's game against Green Eagles of KABWE. We now look at the Camnet verse of the day, and it's coming from 1 Corinthians 16, verse 13 to 4:10, and it reads, "Be alert, stand firm in faith, act like a man, be strong. Your every action must be done with love." Thank you so much for choosing Camnet TV. My name is Sharon Kalimbola. Good night.